contents of that email to you, my viewers. The, the live link's just now coming up. Okay, the live link started. Hey guys, how you doing? I just got through telling the folks on Spreaker who were listening to the podcast. I received a email from Senator Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell this evening, or yesterday evening rather, and I can't wait to read it to everybody. It's pretty interesting to say the least. I want to cover I want to cover the CNN leaks. This has just released part 3 of the CNN leak tapes. I've listened to about an hour of the audios, which I have downloaded. I have about half of them downloaded, but I haven't listened. I think each file is about 8 hours long. And please disregard my dog. He's laying right here at my feet snoring. It's Roscoe. He's getting old. He's a pug. I've had him for a long time, and he can silos. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot to go over. Let me jump right into it, I guess. I had something on my mind, and I forgot what it was that quick. I wanted to. Oh yeah, that's what it was. I just heard last night that a member of our community, Sharon Gale Timberlake, she's in really bad shape. She has been for about a year and a half, or maybe even longer. She's got cancer real bad, and if anybody out there could take time and pray to God and ask Him to. In fact, I'd like to say a prayer myself. Now that I brought it up, dear Heavenly Father, I come before you humbly this morning. I come before you to ask that you make all these sick people around here better, help them any way you can. Move on them, Lord. Move on their families. Do everything you can, Lord, to show them that you are the way, you are the light. You are the shepherd. We are the sheep. And please watch over us all, Lord. Please help this broadcast. Please help all my family and all my friends. And that's it, Lord. Just watch over us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'm pretty big on God and that sort of thing. Now, if you disagree with me and that, I ain't got no beef with that. I mean, I can get along with pretty much anybody as long as you ain't one track liberal or something like that. I could even get along with a number of them, I guess, but not all of them, of course. Well, I've been working really hard tonight. I've been trying to find out about the website. I haven't ran any tests on it as of now because see, the only person that's ever worked on it's been me, and I'm not no web designer, and I use Wix.com, and I'm not the best computer person in the world either. I'm technologically challenged, even though I grew up during the rise of the computer era. Let me get my puppy. Give me just a second. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Puppy, ain't she? Get the camera, baby. This is my baby. I've had her. She's about 6 months old, I guess. She is a part Boston Terrier. Her mom's a full stock Boston Terrier, and her dad's like a wiener dog and a Feist mixed breed. And she's smart as a tack. I wouldn't take nothing for her. She's my baby, buddy. Her is. Yeah, she's got a side of sense. But anyways, I'm glad to announce that the show is now available on iHeartRadio. That made my day. Oh, look at that. That's my baby, buddy. We're just like children, I swear. I ain't got no young ones except for my dogs, but I got a few kids that, as close to me as my own children would have been or could have been, though, but yeah. I've had a lot going on here in the last week. It's been a sight. I hate where I live at. I'm kind of like just the craziness that goes on around here, to be honest with you. I mean, this is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. I mean, despite, like, I don't know, when it comes to hunting, I'd rather hunt, somewhere else around here. Or I won't say that. I'd rather do my hunting not only here but other places, in the surrounding area. And I've been to a lot of different places in Kentucky, and I've been to a lot of different states too. I've not been to a whole lot, but let's see, I've been to Detroit, Michigan. It's the only place I ever was in Michigan, I think, and I've been all through Ohio, pretty much. Been all through Tennessee, pretty much. Been to Missouri, Illinois, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. But this is probably the prettiest place I've ever seen. I've been to St. Louis one time. That's as far west as I've ever been. That was about this time last year. So that's a pretty place. It's a really scenic drive. I don't know, man. I'm not a city person, and when it comes to the city versus living here, it's like you see a lot of poverty here. Now, when it comes to the city, it's everywhere. I mean, you'll see it here and walk 10 feet more and see it again. But it's pretty bad around here too, but not, I wouldn't say it's as bad. Or it's probably where they just got a bigger population too. She minds me just like a baby, son. Most of the time, anyway. Get in bed. Come on. Go lay down. Go on. They keep me busy, and I know it. She's trying to get boogered up. Go on. Go on. Go get bed. Come on. But anyways, let's get into some news here. There's been a teen charged after police discovered plot involving Johnson County School. This is up on WYMT.com right now. At least it was around 2 o'clock last night, or 2:30. Haven't had much sleep tonight, guys. It's a video. I'll play the video.
Terrifying plan. Good evening, I'm Cassidy Strickland. Earlier this afternoon, the FBI contacted the Johnson County Sheriff's Office about a threat of violence. A 13-year-old student at the Pierre school planned to bring a gun to school and then take his own life. WYMT's Taylor Frost talked to a sheriff deputy who says this is a shock.
After a tip from the FBI, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office says everyone is safe at the Pierre school in Johnson County. Friday afternoon, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office stalked a plan in motion. A 13-year-old planned a school shooting and then intended to take his own life.
Nobody was harmed. He had just planned it out with somebody else. That's how I got the information.
Officers tracked down the teen with intel the FBI gathered from the internet.
Information from the FBI, the address. Deputies went to the location. They located the juvenile.
At the teen's home, officers found 2 stolen guns that were fully loaded. But Deputy Sheriff Terry Tussey says officers are prepared for situations like this one.
We trained for it. We've active shooter classes, and we trained for it, but we never really see it.
And he is thankful they were able something that could have ended in tragedy.
Through sharing of information, this all worked out perfectly.
Officials say the investigation is still ongoing and they have not released the name of the juvenile. In Johnson County, Taylor Frost, WYNT Mountain News.
The teen was charged with second-degree terroristic threatening, 2 counts of receiving stolen property, and possession of a firearm by a juvenile. We reached out to officials with the school who told us due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, we cannot comment on the situation except to clarify that there were no students present at school. Students have not been present at the school since the end of May due to summer break.
That's awful, folks. But with the good comes the bad, or with the bad comes the good. Either way, vice versa. Did y'all pick up on what that officer said? What she said? The FBI know about that kid gonna go to school and commit suicide. Okay? Now, this kid ain't no terrorist, okay? This kid is, he could be your kid. He could be your neighbor's kid. He could be your cousin's kid. He could be anybody's kid, okay? But one thing that sets this kid apart from all the other kids is he had a plan which he intended to go to school in Johnson County, it said, Johnson County, Kentucky, and commit suicide. And apparently, I don't know whether he shared this information through social media or what, but their algorithms, their hackers, their computer gates picked up on it. And if they can pick up on that, imagine what else they can pick up on. I mean, it's no secret. I keep my cameras covered up with a little piece of tape, okay, guys? They can activate your phone, your camera, your files, your whatever, and the battery can be totally drained. They don't need no power. You can believe that. Why do you think Hillary Clinton packed a hammer everywhere she went, and so did every member of her staff? Because when the FBI came to raid their property or whatever, raid the premises in which they resided, they were going to bust their computers up with hammers and bust their iPhones and their smartphones, their Blackberries, whatever the hell that they use, you know. But that's what they were going to do. Don't believe me though. Look it up. You know. Don't take my word for it. Puppy, she's after the cat now. She aggravates. She makes him look a rough life. Let me tell you. Go lay down. Go on. Go lay down. Go on, puppy. She's a side. I wouldn't take nothing for my animals. I wanted to share that link on Twitter wished I had some help with all this producing and stuff. It's really a hard job going out and finding all this news. You have to read over it. You have to present it. Excuse me, I just burped. Excuse me, that's a bad habit, which I'm sorry, so sorry. But yeah, that's a bad job. You have to go out and find all this news and read it, give your analysis, and all this. I wish that I had a caller y'all can call if you want to. The number 276-524-0047. You can also reach me on social media. You can reach me by email. I'm here, folks. I'm fighting for you, the people. I'm fighting for America. I'm fighting for this show. I realize I'm not no what's his name? Joe Rogan. I'm no Steven Crowder. I'm no Michael Savage. But hey, I am Alex Morgan. And you remember that. You write that down. You can take a picture. I don't care. Chisel hit in stone. Because there'll never be another one. Okay? The old man and the old woman could have made 10 more. And they wouldn't have had another one like me. I don't believe. But anyways, that's another story in which I digress. Let's get back to some news. This is an update from the other night, which is a story that I didn't cover because it must have been up on the night that I didn't do a show. But update: missing Laurel County man found safe. Laurel County, Kentucky, WYMT update. The Laurel County Sheriff's Department has informed WYMT that Jerry Caldwell Jr. was found safe Friday evening. The original story was police in Laurel County are asking for help finding a missing man. 44-year-old Jerry Caldwell was last seen just before noon Thursday, 9 miles south of London off Kentucky 1223. Caldwell is 5'8", 155 pounds. He has blue eyes, brown hair, and a beard. He was last seen wearing da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, I'm so glad he was found safe. That was, that was a positive story, so I wanted to share that with everyone in case, somebody hadn't heard or something. I'm actually getting a message. But yeah. This phone right here is slow as it can be. I should have been doing this show. But, yeah. could use the computer probably more. Back to the news, shall we? This article is from WIMT. There's an article up, or there's a poll up rather on WIMT, which I voted on earlier. Says, will you travel for the 4th of July? We wanted to share that with y'all too.
There's an unfortunate perception that people from the hills
If
can't do things.
the ad don't slow me down. There's been well, it don't say how many people have voted, and this will tell us how many people have voted. I found it really interesting because 9.48% had said yes, 89.67% have said no, and 0.86% are undecided. Yeah, there may not be a lot of people that's voted in there. I really don't know, but
I've been more than pleased with the quality of work from students at East.
I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, gas prices really ain't high this summer like they have been summers recently, you know. And yeah, sitting here looking over my place, but that's my cousins right there. They're at some beach. Wish I was there. Here's an article that I may share later. The National Enquirer goes after Micah and Joe for sleazy cheating scandal after MSNBC TV, Joe Scarborough and Micah Brzezinski revealed Friday that the National Enquirer had threatened to publish and expose on them if they something else. Let's check it out. Never know what you run up on Facebook, Twitter now. It ain't no telling. After MSNBC couple Joe Scarborough and Michael revealed that the Enquirer had threatened and exposed them if they didn't grovel to President Trump, the supermarket made good on its word. Just out this morning, the tabloid re-upped an early June hit piece that the Morning Joe co-hosts were involved in a Clinton scandal, end quote. It is well known that Trump is close pals with the Enquirer owner David Pecker. The piece comes in a sci-fi format with captions. Both Joe and Michael were married on up to other people when they became co-hosts. They have since divorced and recently got engaged after Joe proposed in the south of France. At the time, Micah opened up extensively to Vanity Fair about her love for Joe and how she couldn't ignore it any longer. Well, I tell you what, she is hard up for a man. That is a match made in heaven right there. I swear, if I even know that I was reading that right there, I want you to look right there. What? God, man. He looks like a big vagina right in the face. And she kind of looks like a chick with a dick, just to be honest, you know. Excuse my French, but I'd say that she wears the pants in the family. And you ask yourself, how do these people get so much money? They make millions of dollars a year to be journalists, okay? To be hosts, to be anchors. And what, they're not talented. They sit and read a damn teleprompter all morning, man, and go along with some false narrative that they feed you like some kind of slop to a bunch of hogs, okay? They feed you poison every morning. Morning Joe. Morning Joe. God, man, that makes me sick. I don't know about it. But yeah. Even his ears, man. His ears looks like the wrinkles on the vagina. Kinda, you know. The big nose is the clitoris. Say. Yeah, he looks like a big vagina. And yeah. People wakes up every morning and watches this while they drink their coffee and or eat their cereal, getting ready for school, getting ready for work, etc. Getting ready for their day, and this propaganda, this mental poison, this I don't know, man. I can't take much more of it. There's a lot better alternative out there, folks. Let me tell you something. We can change the world, okay? If we come together and we work as a team, we can change the damn world. Excuse my French again. I don't want to lose my heart. Thing right there. I love being a part of it. It gives me a chance to reach more viewers on a more regular basis. I actually got like 15 views on there yesterday alone, I think. That's one of my best days since I've been doing this. I don't know what place. Like, I can't wait to play you the new tapes. Unless you've already heard them, you know, but I just heard them last night, and it just pretty much confirmed what I already knew. I can't even remember. I think I played y'all the one the other night where one of the employees was talking about how it was just the Russian narrative was just for and this one has the producer Jimmy Carr in it saying that the American voters are dumb as SH upside down exclamation mark T. And then again, we dodged the biggest bullet in history by not electing Hillary Clinton for president. But yet they refer to us as the dumb ones. These are the people who wanted Hillary for president. These are the people who wanted, they sat and fed you pro-Hillary information.
Shoplifting to feed your family now.
Day.
Like it once was back in the day, come in and take an item that you needed or whatever because you didn't have the money to spend on it. These people are coming in from what we're saying.
Oh God, there's two places.
Earlier this afternoon, the FBI contacted the Johnson County Sheriff's Office about a threat of violence. A 13-year-old student at the Piera School planned to bring a gun to school and then take his own life. WYMT's Taylor Frost talked to a sheriff deputy who says this is a shock.
After a tip from the FBI, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office says everyone is safe at the Piera School in Johnson County. Friday afternoon, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office stalked a plan in motion. A 13-year-old planned a school shooting and then intended to take his own life.
Nobody was harmed. It was, he had just planned it out with somebody else. That's how the FBI got the information.
Officers tracked down the teen with intel the FBI gathered from the internet.
Got information from the FBI. They gave us an IP address. Deputies went to the location. They located the juvenile.
At the teen's home, officers found 2 stolen guns that were fully loaded. But Deputy Sheriff Terry Tussey says officers are prepared for situations like this one.
We train for it. We've active shooter classes that we train for it. We never really see it.
And he is thankful they were able to put a stop to something that could have ended in tragedy.
Through sharing of information, this all worked out perfectly.
Officials say the investigation is still ongoing and they have not released the name of the juvenile. In Johnson County, Taylor Frost, WYMT Mountain News.
The teen was charged with second-degree terroristic threatening, 2 counts of receiving stolen property, and possession of a firearm by a juvenile. We reached out to officials with the school who told us due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, we cannot comment on the situation except to clarify that there were no students present at school. Students have not been present at the school since the end of May due to summer break. The teen was, I'm reading the wrong thing there really quick. The 16-year-old daughter of a murdered Rockcastle County couple is behind bars tonight. Police have charged her and her 22-year-old boyfriend, Chris Evans, with 2 counts of murder. According to Evans' arrest citation, he admitted to shooting William and Sharon Bryant earlier this month. However, police still don't know why Evans and the teen killed the couple.
You know, whether it's drug related, whether it was anger issues, inheritance.
Police are not releasing the name of the 16-year-old. We know her case will start in juvenile court, but she could be tried as an adult. Police say a gunman who opened fire earlier today at a New York City hospital was a doctor who formerly worked there. Several people were shot and the gunman is dead. CBS's Meg Oliver has the latest from New York.
I did not know that detail.
New York City police report there are victims after a shooting inside New York City's Bronx-Lebanon hospital.
One doctor is dead, and there are several doctors who are fighting for their lives right now amongst those who are wounded.
Police say the gunman, identified as Dr. Henry Bello, a former employee, hid an assault rifle in his lab coat and targeted at least 3 doctors when he opened fire shortly before 3 p.m.
If this person is a responsible employee who knows the way out of the building, he knows where the are.
Police say Bello, described as a family medicine physician, shot himself to death. Police immediately placed the hospital on lockdown while they searched for the gunman floor by floor. This man said his fiancée called him while the shooter was active.
They ran inside a room, barricaded itself. First thing I told her to just get off the phone, don't talk too loud, stay low, and stay where you at. Physical, they okay, but mental, it won't be the same.
The 1,000-bed hospital has one of the busiest emergency rooms in the city. It lies about a mile north of Yankee Stadium. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Bronx, New York.
You can find all the latest developments on this story and others on our website, WIMT.com.
Happy Friday to you. The holiday weekend is beginning, and today not too bad, but some rain on the way. Let's start with the almanac. 84 degrees, right on par where we should be for that average high temperature. The low was warm, and that's because of the cloud cover, and we're having more of it tonight, but also some showers and storms. And yes, look at that severe thunderstorm warning just to the areas north of Danville. Now, this still has about 50 miles or so before it even gets into our coverage area. These storms are weakening, so showers and storms expected as they move eastward, but they should be much more calm, and as we head into the evening, we'll look at more rain than actual thunder and lightning. But look at the rainfall. You see that up along the Ohio River. That's working down to our region. None for today, but temperatures still remain mild. The mid-70s, upper 70s, depending on where you're located. Cloudy conditions, and those temperatures not going to be dropping too much. In fact, Cassidy, we're going to be looking at the upper 60s and then more rain chances as we head into the forecast for tomorrow. We'll break down a little bit later.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. Praying for recovery. Many people in the Stinnett community are praying for a Leslie County teenager injured in an ATV accident Thursday afternoon. Chase Hoskins suffered a serious head injury after crashing his ATV into a dirt bike.
Stinnett, this is where I was born and raised, folks. I don't know this particular child though. I heard about this yesterday or the day before. It was the day before yesterday, but I haven't heard anything else.
WIMT's Justin Case talked to friends and family about why this crash has left many people shocked.
Chase Hoskins just turned 16 in April. People who know him say he loves off-roading with his friends.
He enjoys four-wheeling, hanging out with his friends, also different things like that, spending time with us and his other brother and sister.
Thursday afternoon, witnesses say Chase was out for a typical ride with his friends. That's when something unexpected happened.
They was just out joyriding, and I don't know if they were just going too fast or if it was maybe the blind curve or what.
First responders were notified almost immediately.
I hollered and asked the boys if anybody was hurt about 6 times or 7 until they finally heard me, and they said, yeah, one of them was hurt bad. That's when I called 911.
Officials say the accident happened when a friend Chase was riding behind slowed down and Chase hit him. He had to be airlifted to Pikeville Medical Center where he is in critical condition.
Well, I do know that his head hit the pavement, and he needs your prayers.
Now an entire community is praying for a miracle. In Leslie County, Justin Case, WYMT Mountain News.
We just talked to Hoskins' family. They tell us he is still in critical condition. One Clay County woman is facing charges after going on a summer shopping spree with a credit card that didn't belong to her. We're told Lakeisha Collett used the cards to buy shoes, tobacco products, and a swimming pool. Officers say the theft started when the one woman left her purse on top of her car after pumping gas. When she left, the purse fell off of the car into the street and into the hands of Collett. Some women we talked with say they try to have a routine when getting gas to keep their items safe.
I don't really carry a wallet because I'm really bad at like leaving things and stuff, so just whenever I have like my debit card, my ID, I just like slide it in there. That way I don't, which I still tend to lose them.
Police are still trying to recover the items. They say keeping all of your items with you while in public is the best way to keep you safe. Meanwhile, Pikeville police are starting a new program to help combat shoplifting. Police are starting an email alert system for businesses to and information about shoplifters. Officers say they have seen an increase in what they call professional shoplifters. People enter multiple stores and take items to sell. They say they believe the shoplifters are selling the items for drug money.
It's not just a shoplifting to feed your family now.
No.
You know, like it once was back in the day. You know, come in and take an item that you needed or whatever because you didn't have the money to spend on it. These people are coming in, from what we're seeing, they're filling buggies full.
Police say if shoplifting continues, they fear it could cause some businesses to close their doors. For more information or to set up, contact the Pikeville Police Department. One person was hurt after an explosion at a Paducah factory today. Emergency crews were called to Dar Pro Ingredients just after 10 o'clock this morning. We're told an explosion blew a boiler out into the street along with bolts, screws, and other debris. 18 people were in the building at the time. One of them was injured, but not seriously. That person was taken to the hospital for treatment. Emergency crews in California responded to a small plane crash on a major freeway earlier today. Officials say a twin-engine Cessna 310 crashed on the 405 freeway near John Wayne Airport in Irvine. 2 people were in the plane and were seriously injured. They were taken to a local hospital. We do not know their condition at this time. Officials are not sure what caused the crash. Today, Governor Matt Bevin responded to an open letter from Attorney General Andy Beshear. The Attorney General had asked the governor to send an email in conjunction with him to all state employees, urging them to sign up for the Scam Alerts program. The governor's response included a list of demands for Beshear, such as asking that he disclose information on how he is using his office to advance private interests. Governor Bevin ended the letter asking Beshear to clean up his office and stop using it for his and his father's political gain. And Governor Matt Bevin has restored the voting rights of 284 Kentuckians. The orders apply to people convicted of nonviolent felonies who have completed their sentence. Once approved, those people will be allowed to vote and hold public office. Rules keeping them from owning a gun or serving on juries will still be enforced. The Kentucky Senate is losing its second in command. Senator David Givens is stepping down as Senate President pro tempore tomorrow. Givens says he's stepping down for family reasons. He will remain in the Senate as part of the Republican caucus. Senate leaders have not scheduled a vote to elect Givens' replacement. Coming up at 11, we take you to Lake Cumberland, where some folks are already getting a head start on the 4th of July holiday. And British researchers turn to nature to create a new type of sunscreen. We'll have the details.
A few storms arriving for tonight and that holiday weekend. All those details are coming up.
Best ever lineup of Nissans.
Pikeville Medical Center.
I ain't gonna listen to that no more. But yeah, that kind of gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on in my neck of the woods. Now let's get to the big juicy stuff, the stuff that they don't want you to see. By the way, you can go to projectveritas.com. It's PROJECTVERITAS.com. Let's jump right into this video right here, folks. This is huge.
We all recognize he is a clown.
This is Jimmy Carr. He is a producer at CNN.
He is hilariously unqualified for this. He's really bad at this. And that he does not have America's best interest. We recognize his child.
Would it be fair to question the American voter?
Oh no, they're stupid as shit.
James O'Keefe, how are you? Give us comment on the Russia story.
That was CNN President Jeff Zucker. He just came out of this building and went to this car right here, and he got in. But what happened before that was, as this guy, James O'Keefe, was outside. See, he knew his routine because I guess he had been watching for a while or whatever, and he knew his address. He gives his address in this other video, but right before he came out of that building, there was a guy that walked up to him and says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Watch this. He just distracted him so he could get in his car.
Russia this, Russia that. This is ridiculous.
I would encourage everybody in this room, and frankly, everybody across the country, to take a look at it.
The Russian things that will be nothing but
Changing it from fake news. Doesn't that under very fake? Aren't you?
Very effing fake news.
We recognize his chest fucking crazy.
Mr. Zucker, this is James O'Keefe. How are you? Give us comments, sir, about the Russia story.
Fake news. We continue our American Pravda investigations inside America's mainstream media with part 3 on CNN. I'd like you to meet Jimmy Carr. He's a producer for CNN's morning show, New Day. His unvarnished and hate-filled opinion of President Trump gives us an insight into how people at CNN really think.
CNN, it's an impartial, right? Do they? What's the view of Trump in like the kind of media circle?
On the inside, we all recognize he is a clown. That he is hilariously unqualified for this. He's really bad at this. And that he does not have America's best interests. We recognize his chest fucking crazy. I mean, because look, here's the deal. He's not actually a Republican. He's not actually a Republican. He just adopted that because that was the party he thought he could win it. He doesn't believe anything these people believe. The man's on his third wife. I guarantee you he's paying for abortions. He doesn't give a shit about abortion. He doesn't care about gay marriage. He doesn't even really care about the budget.
Right.
The man's upping the budget even though he promised to raise it.
You mean he'd be pro-gay marriage or
I don't think he gives a shit.
People say Jimmy Carr only speaks for himself, but he told us in no uncertain terms that almost everyone at CNN agrees with his sentiments.
90% of us are on board with just the fact that he's crazy.
What do you mean? 90% are on board what? With her?
No, I wouldn't say with her, but just acknowledge the fact that he's finished.
90%.
Carr doesn't have a very high opinion of CNN's audience either.
Would it be fair to question the... I don't want to be rude here. You can't have it. you're at least some percentage Irish, Scottish. But it'd be fair to question the intellect of the American voter.
Oh, no, they're stupid as shit.
His harsh words didn't stop.
He said, oh, they're stupid as S-H-I-T.
Now, and of course, the thing that pisses the White House is, because we actually had that awful woman, Kellyanne Conway, you know, the blonde. Who's sorry, Kellyanne Conway. What she look like? Is she the one with the... She looks like she was shot. She looks like she was shot.
Carr reiterated what we've heard from other CNN staffers that we filmed. This is John Bonifield from CNN's Atlanta headquarters. Did you get the location this time? Paul Fari of the Washington Post?
Then why is CNN constantly like, Russia this, Russia that?
Because it's ratings. Because it's ratings? Our ratings are incredible right now. I think it was just to give you some context. President Trump pulled out of the climate accords, and for a day and a half we covered the climate accords, and the CEO of CNN said in our internal meeting, he said, good job everybody covering the climate accords, but we're done with it, let's get back to Russia.
Carr reaffirms that it's CNN's brass that wants the Russia story because it's good for the ratings. Money.
It's decisions made by people higher than me, and if they go, wow, your ratings are soaring right now, keep up what you're doing. What you're doing is Russia, ISIS, London terror, shooting in Chicago. That's it.
Carr says it's ratings, and CNN host and political commentator Van Jones says the Russia story.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing burger.
Really? You don't think that,
It now seems pretty clear that CNN's bias and dishonesty is a plague in the once respected news organization.
This is a new day with Chris Cuomo.
Jimmy Carr works for New Day, CNN's morning show. It's hosted by Al Rada and Chris Cuomo. Said our methods can be quite effective.
James O'Keefe is definitely someone who's identified with the right, but Eric Garner's daughter isn't, and she's the one who said that Al is all about the money.
She was caught on tape not knowing she was being videotaped, so she wouldn't have said
Sometimes that's when you're the most out.
There you go.
Funny enough, we found further evidence of CNN's culture of malpractice and deception on New Day itself. On March 30th, Carr's show aired what looked to be a pretty routine story featuring CameraFi and a panel of 6 Trump voters.
We are 60 plus days into his presidency. We want to get your grades and your impressions of how President Trump is doing.
The raw audio of the panel interview was leaked to us. It lasted nearly an hour and a half, cut down minutes. What's striking is Carr and producers chose to include what they chose to omit. It's called selective editing. Look at this portion, when panelist William Baer is discussing the president's claim of voter fraud.
And we don't know how, as far as the votes and fraud and everything else. I mean, my assumption is that he probably would have gotten elected by a higher number than what the results actually showed.
But are you saying that you believe that there were 3 to 5 million illegals who voted?
Oh, well, I know that in New Hampshire. I've seen it. I've seen busloads of people.
This is where we keep coming back to. When you say you've seen it, do you mean a dozen? Or do you mean 3 million? There's a difference.
Well, obviously, there's only 1.5 million people in New Hampshire, so I didn't say 3 million people.
Well, the number that President Trump said was 3 to 5 million illegals.
I don't doubt that.
No, he said in California.
Extrapolating based on what I've seen with my own eyes, busloads of people coming in, whether they're legal or they're illegal voters. They came over from Massachusetts.
You're sticking with that you've seen
busloads, the busloads that I've seen and where I've seen them and stuff, but on television I've seen.
In Chiron, quote, Trump voters on his unproven voter fraud claims, unquote. The implication, no evidence of voter fraud whatsoever. When Camerata asks for proof, the panelist has no answer. Or so it seems. Here's the raw audio from immediately after the edit.
I have seen busloads. I guess I can't cite the busloads that I've seen and where I've seen them, but on television I've seen it. And, I mean, has anybody looked into, like, what James O'Keefe has done when he went undercover to these various polling places? I know, but he went in and basically was ready to vote as somebody else. Nobody asked for ID. I was actually a poll watcher in New Jersey, and I saw what was going on there. There were college students voting, and there was basically, you use a, that's right, or you use a provisional ballot and it's never challenged, they just put it right through. I mean, this is common.
At the moment Baer is about to cite the evidence to support his claim, CNN ends the clip. The piece suggests that Baer did not have a legitimate answer to Camerata's question. In actuality, the answer was cut because it didn't fit their narrative. This is a textbook lie of omission. In the last week, CNN's credibility as a news organization has been put in serious doubt. We wondered what CEO Jeff Zucker would have to say about it.
James O'Keefe, how are you? Give a comment, sir, about the Russia story. Okay. That was pretty cowardly there, wasn't it?
Zucker did not wish to talk to me. That's not surprising. His network has been exposed as not merely just biased, but corrupt and deeply dishonest. His leadership must now be in question. In the final analysis, this is about a conflict of vision between a dying legacy mainstream establishment media that seeks to characterize and interpret reality versus an American people that craves unfiltered, raw, real, true information. No more fake news.
No more fake news. Let me check this video out right here. It's one that I just saw.
Well, good evening. We live in infamy in this thing, and it's getting worse by the day. We have not yet installed a countdown clock for the next ethics scandal. We're considering it, though. In the meantime, here is the latest. Earlier today, another covered note discrediting. Now, Fox has confirmed but it appears to show CNN admitting that the story has obsessed over from till bedtime for the past 7 months is basically a sham.
Hey, man.
I love the thing is it's a big nothing burger.
Really?
Then why CNN constantly like Russia this, Russia that? Because it's ratings.
Now, before we continue, one obvious point: the tape you just saw is a little creepy. Privacy is vital to the functioning of any society, not to mention to human happiness itself. And unfortunately, it appears to be disappearing in this country thanks to the digital revolution. Even cable news figures ought to be allowed to have conversations on the street without worrying that their private remarks are being secretly recorded, as they now so often are. Also, by all accounts, whatever it's worth, Van Jones apparently is a nice guy. Everyone who knows him says so. That said, how wonderfully revealing this exchange is. The Russia story is a nothing burger? Yep, we knew that. If only they admitted as much on CNN. But in private, they know it too. You remember the tape released just yesterday in which a CNN producer conceded that his boss, Jeff Zucker, demanded that CNN shows drop actual news coverage in order to spend much more time on the Russia conspiracy, since that storyline makes more money for the network? It is as corrupt as you imagined it was. Meanwhile, according to the New York Post, CNN apparently had to retract last week's bogus Russia story and fire the 3 reporters who wrote it after being threatened with a $100 million libel suit from Anthony Scaramucci. He's the Trump associate who was slandered by the piece. Whoa. What is next for CNN? Well, on his show, Rush Limbaugh predicted the end may be near.
Could Donald Trump be the end of CNN? What a legacy that would be. I think that's what the Trump administration is doing with many in the media. They're like cats. He's got this little red laser light, and it's just causing them to make fools of themselves, and everybody's laughing at them as they're crashing into walls and sofa and the floor. And that's what little Jim Acosta had happen to him yesterday.
Cats to a red laser light. Awesome. Well, we don't know what's going to happen next at CNN, but whatever happens, this is clearly a network in crisis. And that happens to companies from time to time. Enron, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers. It's not unheard of. The question is, how does your company respond when its corruption is revealed? Well, here's how CNN is responding. Its media critic Brian Stelter, who also hosts a show on the channel, let loose on Twitter today, attacking the forces of what he described as anti-journalism. Quote, activists promoting hatred and resentment of the press. Millions of people are exposed to extreme anti-journalism views daily, spreading hate about an entire class of American workers. Got that? American workers. In Stelter's telling, those would be journalists, these soft-handed Princeton grads who would be consultants at McKinsey right now if they hadn't worked on the school paper. They're workers. In fact, they're the opposite of workers. They're members of the privileged class, and their fear and outrage at the stirrings of populism is proof that they know they are. When public speak, they know exactly what have to lose. Viewers don't want to for a very simple reason. They're not trustworthy. And it's strange they don't do that. Let's say you own a potato chip factory, okay? And you once had an unbreakable monopoly on snack food. People buy them from you. Then one day, making better potato chips, you would lose market share to make tastier potato chips. Or would you attack your customers as stupid and immoral, megalomaniacal rantlers who don't like your chips are spreading hate? Well, it depends how deluded you are, I guess. Mark Stein is an author and columnist. He's watched all of this carefully, and he joins us now. What do you think of that, Mark? The whole our viewers are terrible, consumers are bad if they don't like us argument. Is that a winner?
No, it's not. And the idea of converting yourself into a victim group I guess, the latest hyphenated, that is really going to. And I think the problem is, to extend your potato chips analogy, is they're actually selling a bag that has all the packaging of potato chips, and there are no potato chips inside. That's the problem with the Russia story. They went bananas over that Malaysian plane that disappeared a couple of years ago, but at least there was a Malaysian plane that was here one minute and wasn't there the next. Here, there actually is no Malaysian plane, and they're covering it. I mean, you said Jeff Zucker is telling them to stop covering real news. You're not entirely accurate on that, Tucker. Yesterday, they interviewed Elmo about what he thought of Syrian refugees. And oddly enough, Elmo happens to like them. And that actually was the least nutty thing CNN has done in the last few weeks. It's the nearest thing to real news.
It's sad. I mean, there are actually a lot of talented people over there. I work there. I know a bunch of them. They're smart, serious people, but they're being pushed to the side in favor of this garbage. What about the prediction? You heard Rush Limbaugh, who you sit in for sometimes, say that they're going to be a casualty of the Trump administration.
Yes, I think that's likely, because the argument that Van Jones was saying, that it's a nothing burger, but it's ratings, that's true in the short term. But there are diminishing returns to this, which is that it's a Russian investigation with no Russians. The only Russian anyone ever mentions is the ambassador, who's like strolling around lunching all over the District of Columbia. He's the only sinister Russian in this story. It's a Russian investigation without any Russians, and at some point it's going to be like one of those Russian dolls that all the tourists like. You open the big Russian doll, there's a smaller Russian doll, there's a teensy-weensy Russian doll, and then you open up the last Russian doll and there's nothing. So at some point, which I think the American public have done already, there is actually nothing. We're down to the last minuscule Russian doll, and there's nothing inside, and you open that up.
So you think that that's a critique of CNN, but I think CNN would call that hate speech. Do you think it should be allowed to, I mean, do you think you're making them feel unsafe by criticizing them?
Well, they actually are advancing the argument now that Trump pushing back against the media, which nobody likes. Nobody likes. Everybody, and I say this as someone in the media, and you're in the media, and you know that. People hate the media. Everybody hates the media.
That's true.
And they hate Jim Acosta going bananas at the White House press conference because the big mean press secretary won't let him turn his camera on. I'm in favor, by the way. I thought Elmo was excellent on CNN yesterday. I'm in favor of replacing Jim Acosta with Elmo at the White House press conference. The fact is, the public is on the White House's side. If Sean Spicer wants to conduct his press conference in interpretative dance, he can do that, and the public, by and large, if it's a choice between Sean Spicer announcing the Obamacare bill in interpretative dance or Jim Acosta doing his drama queenery, then people would rather have the interpretative dance of Sean Spicer. They're not going to go anywhere with this.
I think, though, the idea, and look, I'm not in charge over there, but the idea is you identify a relatively small but consistent audience of true believers who are sort of, read into the esoteric theory of Freemasonry or Russia conspiracy or whatever they're selling, and you kind of just go with them. You're no longer a national network, you're speaking to a small group.
Yes, and they're very enthusiastic. The trouble, I think the serious point here, though, is that at some point the interests of the Democrat Party diverge from CNN and the other Russia investigations. This time they actually succeed in dragging someone into Congress to talk about it. What happens is it reveals more about Loretta Lynch meeting with Bill Clinton or telling to call the Hillary investigation an investigation. And so it's actually, the Russia investigation is really a Democrat investigation, and the more you focus on it, the more it drags in Susan Rice and Loretta Lynch and eventually the president himself. And at some point, the Democrats are going to say, look, it's fine for you to do your ratings, but can we please have more Elmo and less Russia? Because this is going to kill us with Loretta Lynch and Susan Rice and all the rest. Their interests are not aligned on this stuff.
So what do they do at that point? Do they go back to finding a new murder trial to cover, or, I mean, what's kind of the next phase for them?
Well, I think the trouble when you go down this thing, it's like we used to have these things long before television. 80 years ago, when there would supposedly be a 5-year-old boy trapped in a well, and you would camp out a well to wait for little baby to be rescued. And that was dramatic in a sob sister way. But if there's no little 7-year-old in the well, if there actually is nothing there, then all you've done long run, I think, is destroyed yourself. And to go back to that Malaysian jet thing, they actually are, in this case, they are the... Do you remember on Malaysian jet might have flown into a black hole?
Entirely possible.
That's actually what they've done now. They've taken a very small story, and in expanding it, they're flying their network into a black hole. And whether they can emerge from that, I mean, I realize that kind of plot twist, that's Anderson Cooper in X-Men 12 or The Avengers, when Loki space-time continuum, and only Anderson Cooper and in the CNN space can wrest Earth back from the rupture in the space-time continuum. Twist left for CNN at this point.
It's going to take me a full day to recover from that. More stuff. That's so great.
That's where they're going. It's Elmo at the, Anderson Cooper with Elmo at his co-pilot.
Oh my goodness, folks. This is unreal. This is unreal. They actually have the gall to interview Elmo. GD Elmo? Are you kidding me? And then ask him if he liked refugees or immigrants, and he said, yeah. Well, yeah, I love immigrants. I love it when they tickle my tickle spot. Trust me, they don't tickle your tickle spot. They rape your whole body. Okay? Anywhere there's a cavity, son. Trust me. And I'm sure you'll find that out later on in the show tonight, or this morning. Excuse me. I'm sorry. My computer is freezing up. again, we're just going to watch this because it's propaganda, and I want to point this out, how stupid it is. I mean, there's probably people watching this and their little kids is saying, "Look, Mommy, there's Elmo. Elmo likes immigrants. I like immigrants, Mommy." You know? God almighty, man.
Political propaganda about the Syrian conflict. Take a look.
Did you find that the Syrian little girls and little boys were a lot like your friends here in America?
Yeah, they really were. It was very interesting because they like to play and learn, just like Elmo and all of his friends on Sesame Street. Elmo's new friends in Jordan told Elmo that they had to leave their homes because it wasn't safe for them to stay. And that made Elmo really sad, and sometimes I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah, so, you know, Elmo is not pushing a political agenda. Elmo does this all the time. He was a big advocate for Tara, the 9-year-old girl in the wheelchair, when they introduced her on Sesame Street. Lily, who a food insecure Muppet who sometimes goes hungry because of her family's financial situation. 2003, they introduced the first positive Muppet, HIV positive Muppet, named Cammy. I just did a whole thing with Elmo about Syrian children and refugees. And the thing about Sesame Street and Elmo is they don't care about your adult BS. They're talking to the kids. And when kids come here as refugees, Elmo wants kids who already live here to know that they are children just like they are. So what's That's the idea. What's their problem? I think because CNN is, you know, in other doo-doo, they just assume that everything they're doing is crap. I'm sorry, this is not the case
It's
with
like
this.
a human campaign. This is the most innocent of all this, and I think remembering the humanity in it, this isn't about, regardless of what side you're on, I think anybody can look at that and say, kids need to remember there's, and just like these characters they've rolled out, we're more alike than we are different. And that's how you raise the next generation on the heels of, I hate to bring it up, but a president that's tweeting about a crazy person on TV.
Folks, it's not enough for them to mentally rape your children, to physically rape your children. They have to politicize your children now to where they want to make liberals out of them what time they're watching Sesame Street, okay? It's the daggone truth. I mean, think about it. Anybody could see that. No little kid has got any business finding out about what really goes on in politics, especially at a Sesame Street age. I mean, come on, man. And listen, I believe that little kids should play together and just be happy. Let me tell you something. When a child looks at another child, they don't see color. They don't see skinny or fat, or that child don't see brown eyes, or, well, they might see that, you know, that's something that a lot of kids pick up on, blue eyes and brown eyes, you know, but not all of them. But yeah, a child, only color a child's worried about is what crayon it's got in its hand. I mean, come on, man. And now they're going to use Elmo. Not only Elmo, but Sesame Street. They've got a Sesame Street character now who is HIV positive. I mean, come on, man. They've got a Sesame Street character that does without food sometimes because of his parents, because of his family's financial problems. I mean, really, come on, man.
You need someone to guide them. You need someone to teach them that this
Yeah.
is what it's about.
Yeah, you need somebody to teach them. You sure
Sesame
do.
Street actually.
You don't
Sesame
need these
Street
people.
is very influential. There was a 2015 study that found that kids can learn just as much from Sesame Street as preschool.
Yeah,
They can.
Just as much.
They more.
I think this is more of a battle people are having with CNN than with Elmo.
Yeah.
But one of the concerns that people were, one of the
nobody should be.
But and also another thing is, this is about the children, which is not what the debate about the travel ban is about. Or we should all be able to come together, whether you're talking about children that Assad has committed a genocide against, or you're talking about children who are refugees. That is a coming together moment, or should be, for everybody.
Unfortunately, they're attached to their parents according to these rules.
Right, okay.
Well, yeah,
but stepchildren.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's the
But
problem.
I think one of the conflicts was that the organization that Sesame Street is working with, the International Rescue Committee, the CEO of that committee, sometimes people feel he does make it political and does talk about policy related to the
He
family.
may do
That's
that.
not
That's
Elmo.
not what he was
Right.
doing here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm telling you. And quit trying to drag everything into this box of political. This is about kids. And if, whether it's kids here, kids around the world, kids need your attention. They don't care about your politics.
Yeah,
they just want to be safe and feel like they're okay.
Yeah, they're gonna be safe. Yeah, they'll be safe, all right. They'll be supporting their parents being for bringing in these immigrants, these so-called refugees. Okay, these are the same refugees that killed and hurt about 50 just about a month ago in Manchester, England at a Ariana Grande concert, guys. And here they are sitting here telling you, oh, it's not about politics, it's about kids, and somebody needs to get through to the kids, somebody needs to reach them. Whoopee. Hey, man. They ain't got this old fella right there, folks, for 1 minute. And if you disagree with me, hell, I want to hear from you. Call me right now if you disagree. If you agree, call me. 276-524-0047. Folks, this is something that needs discussed. And 5 women on The View with biased liberal views just don't cut it, man, okay?
That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
Time now for Top That.
And we let this ad right here play out. There's another video right here I want to watch. If I don't hurry, I'm not going to get all the news that I want to get done today, so bear with me, please.
Live here for you now. We're talking about an amazing project that is bringing the wonders of Sesame Street to refugees in different war-torn places across the world. And we have some really exciting guests with us. Facebook users, you will want to be asking questions. Start putting them in the comment section. Let me introduce our guests. We have David Miliband, who is, of course, the CEO of the IRC, the International Rescue Committee, who have teamed up with Sesame Street in this venture. We have Sherry Weston, who is the head of Global Impact for the Sesame Workshop. And last but not least, I have to say this is a real treat. I get to interview lots of exciting people, but Elmo, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Elmo. Hi, everybody.
Elmo, can I just start by asking you, because I know you went to visit a refugee camp in Jordan, right?
Yes.
Back in February?
Yes.
What was it like?
It was really wonderful. Well, Elmo and Miss Sherry went to Jordan together.
We did.
And it was really wonderful because Elmo got to meet a lot of new friends.
A lot of new friends? And did you find that the Syrian little girls and little boys were a lot like your friends here in America?
Yeah, they really were. It was very interesting because they like to play and learn, just like Elmo and all of his friends at Sesame Street.
And they loved Elmo. They loved meeting Elmo.
It was a really good time.
Well, you're pretty lovable, Elmo. I mean, Sherry, tell us a little bit more about this project. Why is this important, and what are you trying to do here?
Well, Sesame's had a long history of looking at issues from a child's perspective, and given the staggering number of children who are displaced today, we knew this was an area where we really had to try to do something to help. And we knew we couldn't do it alone. I mean, we are great at reaching children with quality early educational content. We know how many of these children have left behind any opportunity for early education. So that led us to the IRC, because after a lot of sort of due diligence and talking to a number of great organizations who work in this space, we really determined that the IRC was the ideal complement to Sesame, given their experience, their infrastructure, their focus on education as well, in terms of reaching displaced children and families. And we felt like if we were hand in glove with the IRC, they could help us reach these children, and we could help create engaging educational content that could make a difference.
And just a reminder to our Facebook users who are watching this live, start sending in your questions. David, tell us, what was your response when you first heard about this idea from Sesame Street, and what is the importance when you're looking at this larger picture of this catastrophe with displacement?
Look at us all, we're all smiling. Whenever Elmo and his friends, we get a chance to see them, we smile.
Yeah.
It's the same for the children that we serve around the world. You know there's a global refugee and displacement crisis, 25 million refugees, 40 million more people inside their own countries displaced by war and persecution. And half of that total is children. These are children who don't just lose their homes, they lose their childhood, they lose their chance of an education, of the kind of nurture and support that many people take for granted. I think that Sesame's inspiration of bringing to poor kids in America the assumptions of middle class kids was something that we wanted to take globally. Let's take the assumptions of the global middle class and take them to some of the most vulnerable kids in the world. The fact that Sesame takes so seriously measuring their impact, doing quality programming, reaching children in a way that really speaks to their needs, made us think that this wasn't just a nice to have. It could be a real lifeline for kids who frankly suffered the most unspeakable trauma as a result of war, and the war that has consumed their countries in Syria, notably, but also in Iraq. And I think it's very important that we try and use every conceivable method to give these kids a chance, because the truth is they're not going home anytime soon. And if we and Sesame don't reach them, then few others are going to be able to have that kind of impact.
Did I hear you right there? Did you say 65 million people?
Yeah, 65 million people around the world. If that was a country, it would be the 21st largest country in the world. And
that's mind-blowing.
Well, it is, and that's the danger. People think, oh, well, the problem's so big that we can't do anything about it. And the great thing about IRC, the great